Hey everyone, Tankenstein here, and welcome to Stock to Spaded. In this episode, I'll be showcasing the ME-410 B-1 U-2. This is a currently 4.3 BR Rank 3 interceptor in the German Air Force's tech tree, and is currently an optionally unlocked vehicle sitting in the same folder as the ME-410 A1 U-2, which makes this perfect for Stock to Spaded. Now you might be wondering to yourself, what's the big difference between the B-1 U-2 and the A1 U-2? Well, quite simply, it comes down to its armament. While they both have four 20mm MG-151 cannons, the big difference is that the A1 features two MG-17 7.92mm machine guns, whereas the B1 U-2 features two MG-131 13mm machine guns. Basically, it's replacing its LMGs with HMGs, and that is it. That is enough for Gaijin to bring it up by 0.6 BR, so we'll again see exactly how that plays out in this episode of Stock to Spaded. Now, if you don't know, what I like to do in Stock to Spaded videos is bring these through at least 3 matches, first match being fully stock, second match being about halfway spaded, and the third match being fully spaded, so that you could see exactly how this vehicle performs, again, from stock to spaded, so you could determine whether or not you even want to get this thing in the first place, and possibly if you want to fully spade it. Now, with that being said, if you don't mind, please consider liking this video if you like this kind of content, and subscribing to my channel. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So here we are, fully stock with the B-1 U-2, and it looks like there is an enemy aircraft down there. Oh yes, there is. I'm going to go for him just because, as you can see, there are hardly any enemy players in this match. But that said, this thing, fully stock, is actually quite decent. Also, look at this. We have air brakes. As you can see, like those things coming out, those are air brakes, and actually they are quite effective. But that being said, this vehicle, fully stock, I know it gets an air spawn. Yeah, I get it. However, it still actually has a pretty decent rate of climb, like better than I would have suspected that this plane would have. Let's go ahead and actually hit him. As you can see, I'm not really all that great with leading, but we have the kill anyways, and for some reason I decided to put those air brakes on the entire time I was going down there. Not too big of a deal. Let's go ahead and climb right back up. We have a P-51 over here, so this will be a challenge to actually have to fight that P-51 and that F-6F. Well, we could try. If I can lure that P-51 to a head-on, I might be able to get him with my excellent firepower. I'm just going to dive down and get some more energy real quick. And now climb up and start firing. Launch all of that there, and we have ourselves the kill. Very nice. And that F-6F is somewhere around here. He might... Oh, yeah. He's got a load of ordnance, so we're going to go ahead and try to climb up a touch. Now, as I was saying before, the climb rate on this thing is actually a touch better than what the SAT card suggests. I mean, it's not the 7.9 meters per second that the stat card says that this thing has fully stock. It definitely does feel a little bit better than that. Not necessarily a ton, but it does feel a bit better than that. I would say maybe just like scratching double digits. And so what that means is that even though this again does get that interceptor air spawn, it can actually typically climb up to give or take where bombers typically will inhabit in the beginning of a match. Again, this match only had so many people in it, like very few people rather, so it's not like, you know, I would see that. Okay, this guy is actually firing on me. That should be a kill, and it is. Very nice. 3 kills, not too difficult. We have a BF-109 over there. Kind of want to go for him, but I also saw an enemy aircraft way over there. This guy's probably going to die sooner than later. And my aircraft is, for the most part, still intact. But there's that enemy aircraft right over there. But that said, I mean, the speed on this thing is good. I mean, I'm actually really shocked to some extent by how good the air brakes are. Genuinely. I mean, like, they are like inordinately powerful, like way better than I would have suspected, which makes this thing actually into a pretty good boom and zoom, like a diver, if you will, because a lot of the time, especially with aircraft of this period, they can easily hit the speeds that will pretty much tear them apart, and that pretty much precludes you from being able to do that. But we have a Mosquito over here. Let's see if we can get him. As you guys probably know, what I like to do in my Stock to Spaded videos, I give you guys as accurate of gameplay as possible, as real of gameplay as possible. I'm not just giving you my best matches ever. So if I die here, then I die here, and that's totally fine. Okay, this guy is firing Ah, farts. He was firing stealth rounds. Good for him, man. And that's on me. I didn't fire soon enough, but I still got some hits on him. Maybe a few 20s. I guess I'm Mr. Dumb. But, that being said, not too bad. 3 kills pretty easily. Again, I mean, like, if you are fighting with the ME410, B-1, U-2, head-on, you're making a mistake, and that's what those two guys did earlier. The maneuverability on this thing is not all that good, but, I mean, it's reasonable enough if you want to play support. You're never going to be able to directly dogfight with a lot of these enemies. Things like P-51, Spitfires, especially Japanese aircraft, you're not going to be able to do that with the ME410. But if you can play chicken and get into a head-on and get a little bit lucky, you can actually find a lot of success doing that after you intercept. However, again, I would recommend intercepting, boom and zooming, and taking apart enemy players from a support role. That being said, let's get into the mid, or I guess the halfway spaded match. It's been a while since I recorded one of these. So here we are, about halfway spaded with the B-1 U-2. As you can see, I have a few bombers, a PE-8 if I'm not mistaken there, and one there. So we will be able to actually intercept this match. Probably not going to be able to go for that B-17, just because I'm already high up enough. I feel like that B-17's probably, yeah, I'm not going to be able to get a proper aim. You know what? Let's go ahead and try. You never know, right? So I like to start firing within around here, and we're just going to go fire a stream of shots. We got ourselves a crit. That works for me. Wow, okay, I was not expecting that, but it doesn't really matter all too much. He's not going to die by me. Okay, PB4Y rather is right there. So we're going to dive down, regain some of our energy so we can actually climb up again, and then we're going to be able to shoot on this PB4Y a little bit longer on target. But that being said, I had already mentioned in the first match, the stock match, that this vehicle had a pretty good rate of climb. It's obviously a bit better now. Ooh, this guy's swinging around a little bit. It's obviously going to be a bit better now, being that we are halfway spaded, and I can definitely tell. I mean, genuinely speaking, it is pretty good. I'm going to lay off the WEP there because I am, whatchamacalliting a bit. I'm just going to go ahead and fire in front of this guy a touch. Oh, look at that! We have ourselves an aircraft destroyed. We have a severe damage on that PB4Y. Like I said, I mean, like, the armament on this thing is really, really good. But therein lies the question. Is the armament on this thing that much better? Where I'm going to be able to, like, where I'm going to want to take this over the standard, like the A1. And I don't know about that, because the BR change between this and the A1 is so big, where the 20mm cannons are really doing the majority of the work here. And when I say the majority, I don't mean like, close majority. It's the vast majority of the work of this vehicle, right? Like, of all the damage that I'm getting done with this, that's what's doing almost every single bit of damage. And it just, I don't know, it's such a tough case to make, in my opinion, that the 13mm cannons, or machine guns, rather, are going to be worth it. I mean, like, they're not 50 cal HMGs, right? In my opinion, 50 cals are quite a bit better than the 13mm in this game. The 13s just, they're okay, they're reasonably decent at low to mid BRs, but that's about it. 50 cals really outshine them, especially with the tracer incendiary belts, which, again, this thing really just does not have. We're going to go ahead and fire on this guy a little bit. Hopefully we can get ourselves some hits, and we have ourselves a crit. Hopefully he can die. But I'm going to probably go ahead and get back to base. This guy's going to try to make it back. I don't think he will be able to, but you never know. B-17s are pretty sturdy. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to gain a little bit more altitude here. Go for this PE-8 while I can. But, I mean, not bad. I've gotten 3 kills, a crit, so that should be a, whatchamacallit, at very least an assist. I mean, really, in general, this vehicle is quite good. I mean, like, to the point, again, where I'm genuinely a bit surprised. Don't think I'm going to be able to get some hits on him. That's fine. But I'm genuinely surprised. Also, the defensive armament on this thing, comprising of two 13mm cannons, it's pretty much useless. I mean, not entirely useless, of course, but it has very little use. It's just not all that good. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and, I guess, see if maybe we can poach this PE-8. I doubt I'll be able to. My right engine is now starting to take damage. Not too worried. My left engine is totally fine, so I should be able to make it back to base totally fine, but I feel like that BF-109 is going to get it. But that said, halfway spaded, I'm actually noticing a pretty good increase in effectiveness with this vehicle. I mean, is it incredible? No. But if you use it right, you get a little bit lucky in terms of both, I guess you could say, let's see, can I get up here? I'm just going to start firing. But if you get a little bit lucky in terms of how many bombers you can actually see get close to you, as well as, of course, you know, favorable head-ons and whatnot, you can do quite well. Again, this vehicle just simply does not have the maneuverability to be able to outturn a lot of fighters. You know, I mean, it's just going to be best as a support fighter. Like, at 4,000 meters, and bear in mind some of my control surfaces are slightly damaged, but we're going 400 kilometers per hour. That's not all too much. Got my combat flaps on. Maneuverability on this thing is not all that good. Which, again, one could easily expect. This is not supposed to be a maneuverable aircraft. So you're really, again, going to want to use this thing as an interceptor versus bombers and strike aircraft, as well as you can probably dogfight heavy fighters. But that's it. You know, this really just, unfortunately, doesn't offer all too much aside from that. So, as you can see, I'm not really good at leading my targets here, I guess. Okay. Enemy destroyed. So, that said, let's go ahead and, I guess, get into the fully spaded match. I'm actually pretty happy thus far with this thing. Much happier than I expected that I would be. But, again, you really have to wonder to yourself, is that 0.6 BR increase? Because, again, this vehicle is the same as the A1 variant. Is that 0.6 BR increase? Man, I am really missing a lot of these. Worth the 13mm machine guns, and quite honestly, I just don't think it is. This vehicle is good, but I don't think that those make all that big of a difference, quite honestly. They just aren't all that good. So that said, let's get into the fully spaded match, see what we can do, but not a bad match. 3 kills, 1 assist, and 3 bot kills, just for a little bit of extra garnish. So here we are, fully spaded with a B-1 U-2, and as one could expect, the rate of climb on this thing is pretty damn good. However, going back to what I was saying in the last match, ultimately, when it comes down to this vehicle, you're getting a BR increase of 0.6 for machine guns, large machine guns. That's it. So it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel worth it to me. I'm going to go probably head on, probably shouldn't head on, but going to, with this B-26, hopefully. A lot of the time I notice that bomber players, they don't really fight back for some reason, like with their forward-facing guns, at least like American ones. So we're going to go for him, gain a little bit of altitude, maybe that'll help. And then we're going to go for the B-17 there, behind him, not the one up top. But, you know, overall, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty impressed by this thing. It's been very good. It's got a very good armament. We're just going to dive down a touch. Okay, crit is fine by me. He's going to keep damaging me, but that's okay. I'm going to have to boom and zoom, but that's not a big deal. We can go for this B-17, hopefully get ourselves a kill. Okay, get a little bit more centered, and severe damage. Very good. Did we rip a wing? No, we got his tail. That works for me, too. But overall, I do like this vehicle. I think that's very good, but like I said, I just don't see why you, like, would have this vehicle at 4.3 when you could essentially have the same exact vehicle at 3.7. So it just kind of feels weird, you know, maybe they should reduce the BR of this vehicle, you know, to 4 or so. I feel like that would be more in line with the armament increase, improvement, so to speak, that you get. We have another potential kill here in this F6, F5. See if we can knock him out of the sky here. And there we go. And that's a great thing about this, because when you have an idiot like me, like I said, I'm not very good when it comes to like accuracy a lot of the time. And so when you have this much ammunition with your 20s, for example, it makes it real easy to get yourself a kill. So you kind of want to go for this Spitfire. I'm going to probably make a passing glance at him. Or I don't know if that's the right term, but let's see if we can get a hit. We got a kill! Woo, boy. Yes, please. We also have some lower enemies down here. So like I said, I mean, like, if you are going to be a, if you're going to be fighting aircraft like this, right, non-bombers, definitely suggest that you kind of hop into, like, the back of these fights so that you're going after enemies like this P-47 that are somewhat distracted. It'll make it actually doable for you. Because otherwise, if you're just going for aircraft that are intent on killing you, that know that you are there, you're probably not going to have too good of a time, for better or worse. Go for this P-61 here, obviously. Didn't really get a kill, but I've already gotten 3 kills, or 4 kills rather, because I have that severe kill, or that severe damage that hasn't been counted yet. So, I mean, in general, yeah, this thing has been quite good. But again, I just feel like having a 4.0 BR, or 4.3 BR rather, aircraft, it just doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. Whereas you could have this essentially the same exact aircraft performance-wise at 3.7 BR. To me, it just makes a ton more sense just to go to the A1 U-2 over this vehicle, because again, you're getting essentially the same vehicle. The 20 mil, like, you could remove the machine guns and you probably wouldn't see, like, much of a difference. If you're going to be going after, for example, like, if you have 500 kills with this aircraft, and you just kind of instead use the LMGs rather than the HMGs, you'd probably only see like 3 or 4 kills fewer over that 500 kills. That's it. I mean, it's such a negligible difference in effectiveness that, in my opinion, it really does not matter. And again, why would you willingly choose to have the higher BR? It just doesn't make much sense to me. And besides, I mean, not that it really matters all too much, because regardless, the HMGs are more effective than the LMGs, but you get 2 times the ammunition, well, nearly 2 times the ammunition, if you're using the LMGs compared to the HMGs. So there is some level of a difference there, and one could make an argument that the combat endurance is higher with the LMGs, with the A1, even though, in effect, it does still have a better armament with the B-1. But that being said, do I recommend this thing? Not really, unless it sees a BR decrease to be a little bit closer to the A1 U1. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. If you don't mind, please consider subscribing. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments below, and also consider liking this video. But like I said, not terrible stats. Its rate of climb is better than what the stat card says. Its turn time is likely a touch better, but you're not going to be competitive in a dogfight. Rather, you're going to be best going after bombers initially, and then booming and zooming against lower altitude enemies that really don't know that you're there. And that's how you're going to probably do best with this aircraft, as I hopefully demonstrated in this video. But that said, thanks again, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.